Michael here from Sol Digital with a short tutorial video on how to install your pre-calibrated data logger and digital load cell pack. The installation should take about 30 minutes if you follow our simple step-by-step instructions. So let's get started. For safety, let's make sure we switch off the power to the crane. The first part of the process is putting the load cell onto the rope. And the first step of that is putting the bolts with the spacers attached through to the saddle clamp like this. The spacers should go between the saddle and the cell of the body. Now let's place our load cell onto the rope. We can attach it in the beginning further down the rope and we'll slide it up the rope later on. Make sure you place the load cell onto the dead end of the rope and that the cables coming from the cell are coming from the top of the load cell. Now let's place your saddle on the other side of the rope and screw the bolts into finger tight to make sure the bolts are in the thread correctly. Now using your Allen key or an electric drill, tighten the bolts. For an indication on how tight to make it, you should still be able to slide the load cell up and down the rope. Let's slide the load cell up the rope into position about 6 inches down from the hardware. And once the load cell is in place, you can do the final tightening. The rope should just touch the body of the load cell. From here, you'll want to route the cables back to the hoist panel using a series of zip ties, a bit like this. Now let's get our lift log ready and wired up. First, let's find a spot to attach the lift log inside the hoist panel along the DIN rail. It's also very important to make sure the lift log is at least 1 inch away from any large contactors or transformers. Using your screwdriver, wire the cables into the terminal block. As you can see from the video here, your lift log terminal blocks pop out to make wiring up even easier. To start the wiring process, let's begin with the load cell wiring. And the order of wiring should go red to 9, green to 10, white to 11, and black to 12. If you want load limiting functionality as well, terminals 13 and 14 are the load limiting outputs. Now to wire up your power, you simply connect the live to L and your neutral to N, a bit like this. Always double check your wiring and make sure everything is exactly where it should be. So feel free to pause this video here and double check your wiring according to the diagram here. Fantastic. Now let's wire up the directionals. The lift log monitors the crane movement by wiring into the A1 terminals on the direction contactors, like this. These are usually found in the hoist panel around here. Now all we have to do is wire up our motion inputs so that our lift log can record all of that data. You can do this by taking a few lengths of small electrical cable and wiring your directional A1 terminals into the lift log. The inputs should be up to 3, down to 4, north to 5, south to 6, east to 7, and west to 8. And don't worry, if you don't have long travel contactors, we can use the lift log's flight control to sense the motion, as there is a built-in accelerometer in the lift log unit. So let's just double check all of our wiring is going into the correct spots. The power live and neutral should go into L and N, up goes into 3, down into 4, north into 5, south into 6, east into 7, west into 8, and the D-cell red into 9, D-cell green into 10, D-cell white into 11, D-cell black into 12, your load limiting function in is 13, and your load limiting function out is 14. 15 and 16 are only used when you're wiring up our traffic light product. Now we're nearing the finish, with commissioning and tearing the device. So let's turn the power back on and test the system. The system should be powered up after a few seconds, and you should notice the OLED screen lighting up. Once it's all powered up, let's move to the next stage of the install, where we tear the load. Let's start this by pressing the select button until we reach the tear option. Watching the OLED screen on your lift log, press and hold the select button until a progress bar appears. Once that progress bar appears, you can remove your finger from the select button. The progress bar should take around 10 to 15 seconds to calibrate, and the display will now read 0. Now move your crane up and down and see if the lift log is registering. You should see the number of log moves go up if everything was correct. If all that's correct, you should be good to go. So now let's reseal our hoist panel cover. And that's it, simple as. You're all ready with your lift log and digital load cell bundle, increasing the lifespan of your crane. I want to say thanks to you for watching this tutorial video, and thanks to Glenn from Composite Components for letting us film this install video inside his workshop. If you want to check out our other videos or find out a little bit more about our wide range of products and solutions, you can check out our website www.soldigital.com. I'm Michael from Sol Digital, and we'll see you in the next one.